Someone burnt a copy of the Quran in Sweden. Big deal. A book was burned by someone who didn't believe that book to be a scripture or holy. So what? Well, it wasn't so what to the NATO chief. It wasn't so what to many of the Western politicians. And it wasn't so what to the Turkish leader, the Saudi king, and to the rest of the Muslim world. But it was so what to us. It is not a great means to express opinion, but it is still his right to do so. Anybody has the right to burn any copy of a book that he owns. So what? But still, it seems our Muslim friends are too sensitive as always. And I couldn't understand how it could have instigated hate. The police knew all about it anyway because he had taken the permission from the local police. But my Muslim friends around the world did say, so what, on many occasions. When Salman Rushdie was stabbed, rather, we observed rejoiced by many of the leaders of the Muslim world. Many of the Muslim leaders also celebrated killing of many bloggers from Bangladesh because they were criticizing this religion, Islam, and they were criticizing Quran simply for criticizing this book. So you can't criticize it. You can't talk about it in any negative manner. You can't question its authenticity. You can't question its barbaric verses. So what the fuck can you do? You get killed if you talk against it. You get hammered. You get your character assassinated by the people who think it is from God. But what about our rights? What about our lives? I never heard the NATO chief speaking against killing of innocent bloggers simply for criticizing Islam. I never ever heard the NATO chief condemning it. I never ever heard the UK Prime Minister condemning it. I never ever heard the Canadian Prime Minister or the American President condemning it openly. That you can't take lives simply for criticizing this religion. So what about our rights then? Why do you think ex-Muslims are doing it always? They propagate in the Muslim world that if a Muslim leaves his religion, he should be killed. He should be ostracized from his family. He should be ostracized from his society. And he should be banished from the Muslim majority lands. What about our rights then? Why did we see global leaders remaining silent when someone like Avijit Rai was killed? Not a single word. Mute. Why? So, the life of a man is less valuable than the pages of a book simply because it claims to be a scripture? Is that humanity today? So when they preach killing, banishing, ostracizing ex-Muslim, that's not hate, right? So why do we see many of the Muslim so-called scholars in the Western countries preaching hatred against ex-Muslim? And why do we see them getting visas to these countries? Why? We had enough. I'm not saying it's a great way to protest, but still, why don't we see Muslim world condemning the people who burned Salman Rushdie's copy of the satanic verses? Why didn't we hear unequivocal statement in condemning the killers of free thinkers in Bangladesh? Why not? It's hypocrisy, isn't it? Why do they burn books then? Why do we see Muslim world holding demonstrations where effigies were burned of criticizers of Islam? Why do we see printers, writers, bloggers getting killed all the time in several parts of the Muslim world simply for criticizing this religion. It's hypocrisy, isn't it? And why do we have to give in to this hypocrisy? They have to learn tolerance. They have to understand that they can't stop people burning it. They can't stop people criticizing it. They can't stop people from calling Islam nothing but a man-made way of life. If you want to believe in Allah, that's your choice. If you want to consider Quran to be divine, that's your choice. But we also need our respect as ex-Muslims, that we also have the right to say it is not a holy scripture. Rather, to us, it's just a piece of shit. Why shouldn't we be able to say that? We are not calling upon Christians to be slaughtered. We are not calling upon Muslims to be slaughtered. We are not calling upon Muslims to be banished from any land. Rather, we are talking about freedom of speech, freedom of religion, to live, to accept, and to criticize any religion. Why shouldn't we have that fair chance? Why should we have to worry about looking over our shoulder when we simply leave that religion? Why do ex-Muslims have to be persecuted around the world? Why don't we see media talking about it? So basically, you want to say, you will kill us, you will banish us from our lands, you will kill our publishers, you will stab people like Salman Rushdie, you will burn our books, you will ban our books, but still, hey, it's a scripture. You can't burn it. Quran is a scripture, so it should get a privilege from other books. Hell no, it shouldn't. And if you are too sentimental about it, fuck it, we can't help it. You can kiss it as much as you want, and I will wipe my ass with it if I want as well. That's my choice. Although I'm not a big fan of wiping my ass with it, because I might get rashes there.